do men argue so much about 50-50 being law when it comes to custody and divorce? Why is the default answer from a man 50-50 should be default? Is it because of child support? Is it because you're mad that the relationship didn't work? So instead of recognizing and owning that you are still going to be responsible for your child, that you would also need to participate in helping their mother, especially if they were stay at home, and now she has to get back into the workforce and she can't just go get a job like she would have before she had kids. So you're saying that that's her fault, and she has to go do that, and that's going to become a detriment to your children, and it doesn't matter. See, men who believe that 50-50 should be default no matter what are also the same men who don't understand that they need to participate and be a 50% parent while they're in the marriage. Men who want 50-50 believe that if it's 50-50, they will never owe child support, which is wrong. Because, see, child support is in the system as a mathematical equation. It is how much do both parents make and how much custody time does each parent have. It is not just because you have 50%, you are just responsible for your own stuff. And I know this because when my ex-husband and I separated, we had 50-50 custody. But based upon the fact that I made more, I would have had to have paid him $55 a month for child support. He waived it because he was like, that's dumb.
I noticed that, and this happens from a lot of the guys that I've coached, and I've coached hundreds and hundreds of guys, right? Probably well over 1,000 guys. The guys that are in a position where they get full custody of a child, and then they have the ability to be able to charge the mother or get the mother on child support, every single time they've waived it. I have never personally seen a guy, no matter how piece of shit the mother is, no matter how good of a job that she is, no matter if she makes more than him at all. And trust me, in order for you to get full custody of the child, the mother either has to be really of a shitty mother, or she has to be willing to give up the child. Because by default, often at times the woman gets the benefit of the doubt. I've never seen a man actually put a woman on child support. Most of the time they just eat the cost, they waive it, or they just be like, you know what, I'm just happy to be able to have my child. And that gives you the different perspective of what a man is like when it comes to fighting for his child versus a mother. Now, when she's having this conversation, and it seems like she's going down this rabbit hole where by default she's choosing to use the fact that a man maybe don't want to pay child support as a result of him fighting for 50-50 custody of his child, basically puts the man at a disadvantage or a disposition that he's not as good of a parent as the mother, when in reality, it's not about whether or not he was as active in the child's life when the child was younger or when they were married. It's that they were able to exchange strengths for weaknesses to make sure that they operated in gender roles to make sure that the child was in the best position possible. So if the mother, for example, when the child is very, very young, almost an infant going into 1, 2, 3, kindergarten, and if they're nursing and things like that, of course they are going to spend more time with the child. Throughout a child's life, especially if you have boys, what tends to happen is, and even in the situation of my daughter and girls, they tend to pick and choose the parent that they're more closely aligned with based off of whatever it is that they're dealing with at that particular time in their life. So if they're going through puberty, or they start to like girls, or they start to like boys, and if they evolve or they feel more closer to the mother versus the father or whatever. And I was very fortunate to be able to work from home and have positions where, I was able to kind of be around a lot more, a lot earlier in her life. Whereas now, I kind of stretch out a little bit. I'm trying to be a lot more active and entrepreneurial, and I travel more and I vlog more and all of this other type of stuff. And I got my office and I've had my studio for a long time downtown. And so she's taken to her mother more, but now as she's getting older, 17, 18 years old, she's kind of navigating more towards the middle and more towards me more. So at different points, she's navigated closer to different parents depending on what she needed at the time. But my point is, how can a woman that is bitter a lot of times towards a man determine whether or not he's doing it for whatever she deems the right reasons as far as him getting 50-50 custody of the child? And most men truly want to be involved in a child's life, and most women feel as though the man is not going to be adequate enough to be able to take care of the child. And that's why she's often at times also leveraging the child against the man, because she is just not in a position mentally to really be able to mature enough to see the man as a good parent. Yet she had children with him, but she don't value him because she's feeling some type of way about him because of the divorce, or they're no longer together, or she's trying to get child support or whatever. But let's remember that the child needs both parents. So for a woman to even say out of her mouth, why do you want 50-50 custody, is disrespectful. In my opinion, for a woman to say, why do you want 50-50 custody of your child and want to be involved in a child's life, but you're trying to make sense in your mind why he even wants to be involved in the first place, is disrespectful.
But I still would have had to have paid him, even though it was 50-50, because again, it's not solely based on a percentage of time that you have with your kids. It's based on income. So even if you have 50-50 custody and your other parent, the mom of your children, was a stay-at-home mom and didn't work, you're still gonna owe child support. It doesn't get you out of that responsibility. And another thing with this is that a lot of men don't want the responsibility of taking care of the kid.
How does she know this? How does she know this? How does she know that? And maybe I'm off. Maybe she's some super person that has talked to a whole lot of men that then told her that they don't even want to be involved in their children's lives. How does she know that these men don't want to be involved in their children's lives?
Don't want to pay the mom of their child to take care of their children. It's your child. You should want to do anything. The amount of men that I see that are like stellar fathers, and I'm gonna preface this with, they shouldn't be looked at as being stellar fathers because of all of the other fathers who are not stellar. And these stellar fathers, guess what? They co-parent very well. Mom says, hey, I need to get shoes for the kids. And he's like, you know what? Let's go to Target. I'll buy them shoes. It's not a big deal for him to take care of his own kids.
Why she can't buy the shoes?
It's not a tit for tat. It's not a, well, they're with you this weekend, you're going to have to handle it. It's, oh, they need shoes, let's go handle it. And see, that's the difference between a stellar co-parent and a non-stellar co-parent. Is the non-stellar co-parent is, well, you know what, it's your weekend, you need to handle that. Guess what? He must be walking too much when, he's at your house or she's at your house. Or you got those dirty last week and you didn't clean them off. There's always a reason to blame the parent for.
Listen, ultimately, I just know that family court laws need to be revamped. And the fact that we just keep giving the benefit of the doubt to the woman and thinking that she's doing it the right way. And we already know that a lot of women don't even use child support for the children. And a lot of times, especially if you were the person that is super valuable, they look to get pregnant so that they can get a meal ticket and be taken care of at least for the next 18 years as a result of having a certain guy's child. So, in my opinion, this whole situation, or everything that she's saying, is disingenuous because it doesn't truly speak to the majority of what people are truly meaningful at, or what they believe when it comes to the relationship, or how they really want to be involved in their children's lives. How does she know that most men do not want, man, listen, I'm not going for it. I don't believe it. I think that this is disingenuous. And the fact that it's always on the men, yet the women automatically get defaulted custody of the child in most situations. I mean, I can't think of one situation where the guy said, I default got custody of the child because I'm just a better parent. By default, it goes to the woman, and the man has to make sure that the woman is taken care of, and then the woman feels entitled because she got his kids. Well, and if that's the case, you might as well come back home, because I'm not going to be paying for you while not getting the benefits because you feel some type of way about breaking up your family. I just don't get it. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. I'm always going to link back to the content creator. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later.